Good morning. It is Thursday, December 10th, and it's time for math. You'll remember that we've started simple addition. We are adding numbers together. So for today's lesson, you'll need lesson 6-3. Represent addition as putting together. So we're going to be working on putting items together, two numbers to make a whole, part whole. What you will need is your pencil. And for this first problem on the front, I want you to get your red and yellow crayon out because we're going to be drawing some counters in this section of your paper right here. And of course your eraser. All right, so today we have our friend Daniel here, and Daniel has been at the garden. And Daniel is looking at tomato plants. And he sees one tomato plant that grows green tomatoes and one tomato plant that grows red tomatoes. So he wants to know how many tomatoes he has in total. So we're going to be using counters to represent the tomatoes. You will remember we have done this so many times in class where we've used something to represent numbers. Remember tally marks, we've used dominoes, dice, we have used counters, or we've drawn pictures, or of course the number symbols. So we've used a lot of things to represent how many. So today, for this first problem, we're going to be using our counters, and you're going to be drawing yours. I'm going to actually put our red and yellow counters up here. All right, so we're going to use yellow counters for the green tomatoes. So let's count and see how many green tomatoes we have. You'll take your pencil. Remember, put an X on each tomato as you count it so we can make sure that we keep track of our counting. Working left to right, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to come down here very quickly and write my numbers so I don't forget. So I have 3 green tomatoes. I'm going to use yellow counters to represent those 3 tomatoes. You're going to draw your yellow counters right here. So take your crayon and I want you to draw 3 yellow counters above the green tomatoes to represent those. Okay, have you got that done? 3 counters right there. All right, we're moving over, and now we're going to count and see how many red tomatoes Daniel has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to come down here very quickly and write number 5 so we don't forget the number. Then I'm going to take my red counters and put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want you to pick up your red crayon, and right above the tomato plant, you're going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you see my paper, you should have 3 yellow counters on the left side of your page and 5 red on the right. Now, to remind our brain that we are putting objects together, we are going to circle all the counters to group them as a whole. You see that? So we just put a circle, and now they're one complete group. So how are we going to figure out how many are in our group? We're going to count left to right. So let's count and see how many total tomatoes we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to come down here very quickly and write our whole number, which is 8. So now Daniel knows that 3 and 5 is 8. All right, you're going to flip your page over. We're just going to look at this top problem. And Daniel's essentially doing what we just did before. Now he has, it looks like maybe some red and orange tomatoes. That's 2 red, so he put 2 red counters. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, so he put 4 yellow. He drew his circle to represent that they are now one group. He counted all of them, and that he found that 2 and 4 is 6. We are going to ignore some of the instructions moving forward as we go through our paper because we're not going to be using counters as we go through the next problems. We're simply going to group and count. So let's go down to number 1. And in number 1, we have some green bell peppers and some orange bell peppers. Let's count the green bell peppers first. X them out as you count. 1, 2. Take your pencil and come down and write number 2 in that first space. So we have 2 green bell peppers. All right, now let's move over and count the orange bell peppers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Write number 4 quickly. All right, now we need to know how many we have in total. So to remind our brain that they are going to be in one group, we're going to trace this circle that they have them in to remind ourselves that we are putting them together. All right, so let's count and see how many are now in our total group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 2 green bell peppers and 4 orange bell peppers is 6 total bell peppers. All right, now let's move over. Now we have some eggplants and tomatoes. I don't know about you, but this math problem is really making me hungry for some really healthy food. All right, let's count our purple eggplants first and see how many eggplants we have. Again, Xing them out, working left to right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Write your number quickly so you don't forget. 5. All right, now we've got some red tomatoes. Let's count those quickly. 1, 2, and write 2. All right, what are we going to do to remind our brain that we are putting both of these groups together and making one total group? Right, we're going to circle them. So, you know the 2 o'clock dots, so you know where to start your circle, and you're going to go all the way around and put all of those vegetables in one grouping. All right, so let's count and see how many we have total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're going to come down here below and write 7 very quickly. 5 and 2 is 7. All right, moving along. Now we're moving over to problem 3. Now we have corn. It looks like we have yellow corn and purple corn. So we're going to start, or blue corn is what this is called. Have you ever had blue corn chips? This is where that corn comes from. And you make cornmeal to make those chips. All right, we're going to count the yellow corn first, Xing them out as we go, as we are counting, and then we're going to write our number quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come down here and write number 5. Okay, got 5? Okay, now let's count the blue corn and X them out as we count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Write your 4 in that next box. So we've got 5, there's the sight word, and 4 is. We know that is means that we are looking for the whole number, the total in the group. What do we need to do to remind our brain that they're in a group? We need to put them in a big circle, and let's count them quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. At number 9, we know that 5 and 4 is 9. Now we're moving over, and it looks like it's beets and lettuce. What is your favorite vegetable? Do you have a favorite? I think I like all vegetables. They're delicious. I like beets. Some people don't, but they're very good for you. All right, let's count our beets and see how many beets we have. Working left to right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're going to come over here and write number 6. Remember, I want you counting out loud with me as we count these so that you hear these numbers as you count. All right, so we've got 6 beets. And how many heads of lettuce do we have? 1. So 6 and 1. If you want one more, you go right next door. So you know what? This is where we're adding just 1. And you might be able to figure this out using a number line. If you have a number line at home, just go next door and see if you can find out what 1 more than 6 is. Or let's just group them and count them. We're going to draw a big circle to put everything in one group, and let's count everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 6 and 1 equals 7. All right, coming down to number 5. Again, we have some heads of lettuce. Let's count them quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to write number 8 down there. Remember, we can make 8 by forming uppercase S and closing it up. And then we have 1 beet sitting out here, so we're going to count that one and put 1. We have 8 heads of lettuce and 1 beet. We're going to circle all of them to put them in one group. Here you go. If you want 1 more, you go right next door. What comes after 8 when we're counting? 9. So see, We know the answer to that, but let's check ourselves and count everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Were we right? We sure were. One more than 8 is 9. All right, let's come over to this problem. We have 2 beets. 1, 2, we're going to write 2. Now we have a new vegetable. We have these great looking carrots. Let's count those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 2 and 8. Think about it. What do we know about 2 and 8? It's a combination of 10, so we actually know it's 10. 2 and 8 is 10. We know that from our combinations, but we can check ourselves by circling everything and counting it all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Were we right? Yep. All right, flip your sheet over. Now we've got eggplants and a pumpkin. Let's do this quickly. Let's count the eggplants. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're going to come down here and write 9 eggplants. If you need to pause me at any time, you can. And how many pumpkins do we have? 1. So we have 9 and 1. Another combination of 10. 9 and 1 partner up to make 10. Do you remember that? Let's circle it and check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Were we right? Yep. So we've had some combinations of 10. All right, let's move over to number 8. How many eggplants? 1, 2. How many green peppers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 and 6 equals, we're going to circle them, put them all in a group, and count the whole group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And write number 8. Coming down here, how many bell peppers? 1. And how many pumpkins? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 and 5. All right, you may know what comes after 5 when we're counting. 6. We're just adding 1. We can think of that as 5 and 1 or 1 and 5. Either way, remember we can flip addition problems. All right, so we're going to circle it all and double check ourselves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Are we right? Yep. All right, last problem. On this problem, we have to figure out how many more we need to make to get 8. They have given us, some red counters. So I'm going to put my red counters up here. Take your crayon. You'll need your yellow crayon. Let's count how many red counters they've given us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to put 5 there. Now take your yellow crayon and we're going to count up from 5 and see how many we have to add to get 8. 5. We'll start with 5. 5, 6, 7, 8. So you should have done 3 more counters, and they need to be yellow, 3 yellow counters to get 8. So we're going to come down here and write 3 because we added 3 more yellow counters. We're going to group them together. And now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we say 5, 6, 7, 8. So you should have drawn 3 more yellow counters. Okay, I will see you tomorrow for a little bit more addition.